So the criminal buffoon is very upset about the photograph that Time magazine chose to put on their cover. And if you haven't seen that picture yet, take a look at this. This is what he is very upset about. And let's see how upset he is, because he posted this on Truth Social this morning at 1:36 a.m. when most normal people are asleep. This buffoon is up rage posting on Truth Social. And so here's what he wrote. He wrote, "Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They, quote, disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never liked taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why?" Now, I don't blame him for being upset about the picture. I would be upset if I looked like this as well. But you can hardly blame Time magazine for this. I mean, in Time's defense, they were trying to suck up to him. I mean, as he said in his little angry post there, Time had written a relatively good story about him. Now, something that's relatively good from his point of view about him is, for normal people, it was effusively, they were kissing his ass. You know, that's what corporate media does. They're falling all over themselves to praise Donald Trump for this peace deal. Really, all this peace deal is a temporary ceasefire, which is not going to hold for very long. You'd have to be out of your damn mind and know absolutely nothing about history to believe that this is going to be some sort of lasting peace deal. And by the way, while we're on this subject, this ceasefire agreement that they're praising Trump for, he didn't come up with this. This is nothing new. This is pretty much the same ceasefire agreement that the Biden administration was trying to get the two parties to sign on to last year. But Trump called up his friend Bibi and said, "Don't you dare sign any sort of an agreement until I become president. Because if you sign this now, it's going to look good for the Biden administration and it might help Kamala Harris win. So don't you dare sign any agreement until I'm president. Then we can sign the agreement and I could get praise. I'll get, Time magazine doing a puff piece about me, about how, I am the peacemaker." So anyway, this is all bullshit from top to bottom. But going back to this photo, again, I would be upset if I looked like this too. But it's not Time's fault. He just looks like a fucking buffoon. Now, they didn't Photoshop his hair out. If you look closely, I don't know if you could see my cursor here, but in the top, like right above his forehead, where no hair appears, there actually is hair there. He's just, the way this lighting is, he has so few hairs here and they're basically translucent hairs anyway. They just don't show up in this picture. So it has to do with the lighting and the fact that this guy is just desperately clinging on to a few remaining hairs that he has on the top of his head. Which honestly, as a bald person, I find this incredibly weak. Okay? Just embrace it, dude. You're fucking bald. Okay? And here's the thing. If I did what he does, I'd look just as fucking ridiculous as this guy does. If I grew out a few of my hairs to 3 feet long and then spun them around my head like fucking cotton candy and sprayed it into place with Aquanet, I'd look stupid like this too. And then especially if I took Oompa Loompa orange makeup and plastered it all over my face every day, I mean, anybody would look fucking ridiculous if you did that, and that's what he does. So there's really no way to make this guy look like anything other than a complete fucking buffoon, which is why I call him the Orange Buffoon. So they didn't do anything to Photoshop his hair out or anything like that. But it seems to me that he's got bigger problems going on in this photo. I'd be more concerned about the vagina he has on his neck. I mean, if I were him, that's what I would be worried about. Look at that friggin' thing. And this is an alpha male. I don't know if you call this turkey neck or he's got some sort of mangina thing on his neck going on. That's what I'd be more embarrassed about. He's got a bright orange vagina on his neck. Okay? And this is who Republicans celebrate as an alpha man, an alpha male, a man who is too insecure to just accept the fact that he is a balding man. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of bald guys out there. There's a lot of macho, big, strong, tough guys who are bald. Okay, embrace it. But he's too much of a coward to just, embrace his biology. But on top of that, how is it that this man is celebrated as an alpha male? Seriously. A weak, cowardly little bitch who's worried about, he's mad because he doesn't like that angle. This is what you look like, dude. And the reason they took it from this angle, they thought it was going to be flattering. That's why Time Magazine ran with this picture. Okay, they thought it was flattering. It makes you look majestic, I guess. I don't know what the hell they were going. But it's clear that they weren't doing this to mock the way he looks. They were trying to ingratiate themselves to Donald Trump. They were kissing his ass. But not good enough. They should have run it by him, and I'm sure next time they will. But again, what does the MAGA cult think about this? Seeing him whining about his hair, and then the mangina thing. I mean, I don't know, because they like to buy up digital playing cards or whatever you call those friggin' things, and they pass around memes of Donald Trump the superhero. He's never orange in those memes that they pass around. He's always like, a nice tan color. He's got a great tan, not a fucking Oompa Loompa. But they always have him with rippling muscles and a full head of hair, not this, patchwork cotton candy shit he's got going on here. And I've never seen one of these memes with a turkey neck mangina going on. Never once. So I wonder what they're going to think of this. Not that it'll make any friggin' difference. These people are too heavily invested in the myth that is Donald Trump. And by the way, isn't that the ear that was supposed to have been blown apart? That's the one, right? Let me see if I can make this a little bigger here. Let's zoom in on this ear. You see any evidence? Man, he really does look pathetic, doesn't he? He is one goofy looking motherfucker. Anyway, do you see any evidence whatsoever that this ear was blown apart by an AR-15? Not even so much as a scratch. Okay, people have scars from pimples that last longer than Donald Trump's, ear damage from an AR-15. The whole thing. I mean, I don't want to get going on that. Anyways, there you have it. Friggin' pathetic loser, crybaby bitch. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.